when the giant from the previous night, the one Jack had supposedly intimidated, walked into the pub. Jack's heart did a slow, heavy somersault. He tried to sink into his chair, but Stanley, buoyed by the whiskey and the pain, stood up. "Hey, you!" Stanley shouted, pointing at the giant. "You're the one who is bothering my tenants." The giant stopped, looking down at the small, red-faced man with the swollen jaw. Jack closed his eyes, waiting for the impact. "I apologize to the kid," the giant said, his voice deep and rumble-why. "He's got a steel plate in his head. I don't mess with military hardware." Stanley blinked, his toothache momentarily forgotten. A steel plate. Tripper. He can't even handle a paper cut. "Shut up, Stanley," Helen hissed, pulling him back down. "Jack, I think your Vietnam platoon needs another round of drinks." As the giant walked away, shaking his head at the crazy old man, Jack let out a breath he felt he'd been holding since 1974. Chapter 17, Christopher Columbus in the Office. Monday brought the return of reality. For Chrissy, reality was a man named Mr. Rogers, a boss who had earned the nickname Christopher Columbus from the secretarial pool not because of his discovery of new lands, but because of his tendency to explore with his hands. "I just can't keep up with him," Chrissy complained that evening, kicking off her heels. "He dictates so fast my shorthand looks like a cardiogram." "Is he still giving you a rough time?" Jonna asked, handing her a glass of water. "It's not the dictation, Jonna. It's his hands. He's always adjusting my collar or checking if my typewriter is level while leaning over my shoulder. The girls in the office say he's looking for the new world." Jack, who was sharpening a knife in the kitchen, stopped and frowned. "You should tell him to keep his hands on his own desk, Chrissy. Or I could go down there and tell him about my other steel plate." "No, Jack, I don't want to lose the job. His secretary is out sick and I'm substituting. I just need to get through the week." "Why don't you complain to his boss?" Jonna suggested. "He is the boss," Chrissy sighed. "That's the problem with bosses. They think they own the air you breathe." Later that night, the stress manifested in the usual way. Jack was woke by the sound of the front door clicking shut. He found Chrissy wandering the hallway again, this time clutching a stack of napkins like they were important files. "Memo to file," Chrissy murmured, her eyes glazed. "The new world is overpopulated. Send coffee." "Come on, Chrissy, let's get you back to the file cabinet," Jack said gently, guiding her toward her bedroom. "Is the elevator broken, Jack? It feels like we're walking through a forest of polyester." "It's just the hallway, Chrissy, just the hallway." As he tucked her back in, Jack realized that for all the laughs and the silliness, they were each fighting their own small battles in the world outside. Jonna with her cynical customers, Chrissy with her wandering boss, and Jack with the constant fear that his culinary dreams and his fake identity might collapse at any moment. Chapter 18, The Flower Shop Blues. Jeanette's world was a riot of color and the cloying scent of lilies, but it was often populated by people who were having the worst days of their lives. "You wouldn't believe the guy today," Jeanette told Jack as they sat on the balcony, watching a sunset that looked like a spilled palette of watercolors. He wanted an arrangement for his ex-wife's wedding. He asked if I had anything that smelled like regret and cheap gin. "What did you give him?" "Dandelions and a thistle." Jeanne smirked. "I told him they were uniquely hardy, just like his bitterness." "You're a philosopher with pruning shears, Jeanne," Jack said, leaning his head back against the railing. "Sometimes I wish I could just hide in your shop. The worst thing that happens there is a wilted petal. You say that until a Britazilla comes in demanding blue roses for a wedding that's in 2 hours," Jeanne countered. "People think flowers are romantic. To me, they're just plants with high expectations." They sat in silence for a while, the hum of Santa Monica rising around them. They were 3 strangers who had become a family, living a lie that felt more real than the truths they left behind at the office or the school. "You think we'll still be here in 10 years? Jeanne asked suddenly. Jack looked at her, his expression uncharacteristically serious. "I don't know about 10 years, Jeanne. I'm just trying to make it to the end of the month without Stanley finding a woman's earring in my room. He'd probably just think it's part of your theatrical personality." Jeanne laughed. "Yeah, a very large, very gold theatrical personality." As the stars began to poke through the deepening blue of the sky, they felt a sense of peace that was rare in the chaotic world of apartment 201. They were Three's company, and for now, the company was exactly what they needed. Chapter 19, The Spicy Pages. The relative calm of a Tuesday evening was punctured by Jack's sudden intake of breath from the armchair. He had been unusually quiet for 40 minutes, buried in a book Jeanne had lent him. "Wow," Jack said, his eyes widening as he turned a page. "Jeanne, I finished that spicy book you gave me to read." Jeanne looked up from the table where she was sketching a floral arrangement. A faint blush crept into her cheeks. "That was quick. I just gave it to you yesterday." "Yeah, well, I'm no fool." Jack grinned, closing the book with a thwack. "I went straight for the pages with the corners turned down. You've been busy with your highlighter, haven't you?" "I read it last night in bed," Jeanne admitted, trying to maintain her professional composure. "It was informative." "Informative," Jack laughed, leaning forward. "It was like reading a gourmet menu at a health farm. So much forbidden fruit, so little time." "Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it," Jeanne said, standing up to clear her sketches. "Oh, don't go yet. Come on, sit down a minute," Jack urged. "I haven't spoken to a soul in this whole day." The school kitchen was like a morgue today. Everyone was obsessing over their hollandaise. What about Mr. Roper? John asked, pausing. Didn't you see